What is up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of Talking Timepieces with Tony. And today we're going to do another edition, like the third little installment of what does your timepiece or what does your watch mean to you? But before I get into it, first I am wearing my Omega Seamaster 300M Professional. And today, essentially, I'm going to be talking about a Swatch watch, but first and foremost, it really has to do a lot with some serious health issues that I have. And so, I was hesitant to do this particular video just because I don't like talking about it. And it's not that I care about talking about it, but I'm certainly not looking for any type of sympathy or any of that crap, right? But when you have a life-changing event, health-wise, it can do one of two things. It can make you either really grateful to be alive and really appreciate things, or it can make you super negative and think the world, act like the world owes you a living, and people get shitty about that. I don't take anything for granted. I think it was a blessing what happened to me. If you don't want to hear the story, just click off of it now. It's all good. I don't, it's okay. So, but having said that, just remember life is beautiful. Life's too short to, be drama and all that shit. And I get caught up in that sometimes too. And, and like with these negative YouTubers and things like that, some guy was attacking me just yesterday, and I was just like, dude, really? Come on, you got nothing better to do. Focus on your own channel. But having said that, let's roll the intro and then we'll get into my swatch. Okay, so here it is. This is a swatch I've had since 2011, and I'm going to tell you why this means so much to me. I'm from Hollywood. I grew up here. I mean, I've traveled the world and I've been to all kinds of places in the music industry and otherwise. I've done a lot of traveling, so very blessed to have done that. I decided back in 2011 that I was sick of living in LA and I wanted to move somewhere else. Now, I've moved to other places before, almost for the same reasons, and then I always gravitate back to LA because it's my home. It's what it's my comfort zone. It's where I'm from. I live in this small apartment that was built in 1938, and I love old Hollywood history, so I live in an old Hollywood history building without going into too much of that. So I moved to Texas in 2011 with this nightmare of a chick. Worst thing I think I'd ever done. We had gotten a house. It was a, really pretty average type house, you know what I mean, but really inexpensive. It was like, and I don't know, after not too long, I moved there in July of 2011, sort of by the, I want to say November-ish of that year. I used to just, all I did was, for one, I had gotten a job as a music instructor at a music academy. I was done with the music industry at that point. I just didn't want to have anything to do with the music industry at all. And for the most part, I would sit out on the patio on my iPad all night, and I was missing LA, and I don't know, I just had a gut feeling it was just a bad idea to be there. And so I stood up. Now, I have really bad back. A lot of people have really bad back, degenerative discs and all that stuff. And I stood up, and I had this cramp in my leg. And I couldn't understand, all right, man, I got a cramp. I thought it was a pinched nerve from the chair that I was sitting on, the way that I was sitting. And I developed this limp, and it was just pain in my leg, But I just thought, I'll just walk it off, and I'll keep trying to walk it off and try to walk it off. And for like 2 months, man, I was trying, and it was getting worse. And then finally, one day, I woke up, and my leg was swollen like bad, and it was purple. And so the only thing I thought to do, instead of going to the hospital, because I'm like, don't want to go to the hospital, is email my little sister and say, hey, cause my little sister's got a doctor, she got PhD and all that stuff. And so I told her what my symptoms were and all that, and she said, you need to go to the ER like right now. And I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go to the ER right now. It was a raining day, Houston, Texas, man, they have some storms there. And anyway, so she convinced me to go to the ER. And I went to, not the ER in a hospital, I went to like a care center, like a, what do you call those? You know, it was like an emergency room, but, you know, and they were really shitty with me there. You know, oh, you're probably fine. It's not life threatening. I don't know what, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then they sent me home. They gave me discharge papers. I told my little sister, and she goes, no, 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 that's not good enough. Go to a hospital, a legit hospital. I was like bummed out. I'm like, fuck it, okay. So I went to St. Luke's, no, was it St. Luke's? I can't remember. And I walked into the ER and printed out the email from my little sister and showed that to them so they would take me seriously. And they got me right in. They did a not a CT scan, but the Doppler thingy when people are pregnant. I can't remember what you call that. And as it turns out, they had found more blood clots in my leg than they have ever found in anybody. And 70% of my entire left leg. I had over 30 blood clots in my left leg. They asked me how long it's been going on. I said a couple of months, and they're like, oh my God, you know, you should have dropped dead. So essentially, they admitted me right away. They actually asked me if I wanted to see a clergyman, any type of a priest, or any type of, you know, because they were that serious. They didn't think I was going to come out of the hospital. And I was like, well, you know, I had a positive attitude. I was laughing and, you know, and they just couldn't understand why I was so positive about it. But long story short, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. I'll throw some pictures up. And I was in there for 2 weeks, and they did several different surgeries on my leg, and basically to try to dissolve the blood clots. And at the same time, they installed a, it's called an IVC filter in my sort of chest area here. And it looks like a squid. I actually have a picture of it. When I got a back x-ray, it picked up on the x-ray, and they were like, oh, holy shit, what was that? That's when I came back to LA. And the filter was only supposed to be in there for 3 months. It has now been in there for 10 years, and it is known to be faulty. It's a faulty filter, but it's in there, but they can't take it out because now it's become part of my body. So I just call that the most expensive piece of jewelry that I own. It's in my chest area. So I am on medication. I have an extremely rare blood disorder. So my blood levels, for me, would be extremely unhealthy for you, and then your, like, normal everyone's blood healthy levels would be really unhealthy for me. So that's kind of how it works. It's called prothrombin factor 2. It's a rare blood disorder. So I'm on medication for the rest of my life for that, but I don't take it for granted. And I'm totally cool with it. I don't worry about it. I just live my life day by day like it's nothing. And I just live the best life that I can, and that's all I can do. So any of these watches that I have, I'm super grateful for. Having said that, I got out of the hospital after 2 weeks. Prior to me going to the hospital knowing I was sick, I was talking to my best friend. And I'm a watch geek, and I always have been. And Swatch came out with these new watches that like have anodized skeleton quartz movements, and I thought they were really cool. And I think I talked to my buddy, and I'm like, which one should I get? There was a few different colors and whatever, and I'm like, I really like the black one, you know. And so, but then my health thing, I went into the hospital, and when I came out after 2 weeks, when they didn't think I was going to make it out, and they did say that part of the reason why I probably survived this whole thing was because I had such a great attitude. I came home, and my buddy had sent me this, him and his wife. So needless to say, and I've always loved Swatch watches, always. I've got a bunch of them. So I love this watch. I can't tell the time on it even with my reading glasses. So I don't really wear it, but I wore it every single day that I lived in Texas for the remainder of the time I was there. I was there for a total of 11 months. When I first arrived there, I had a 22-foot truck filled with my stuff. When I came back, all I had left was everything that fit in my car, and that was it, because I left the chick. I just bailed. I was like, that's it, I'm done. I paid the remainder of the lease, and I left. Came back to LA, and I was freaking homeless. No job, no place to live. I was doing what we in LA call the couch tour. As a grown man, that's really pretty pathetic, but, you know, everything turned around, and, you know, so I'm blessed. I don't take it for granted. I don't take anything for granted. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we have hard days, and, you know, and we still have shit we have to deal with. But anyway, so this watch, that's what this watch means to me. My best friend got it for me, and it was at my house when I got out of the hospital, and I wore this thing every single day, and I love it. I will never get rid of it. The fact that I got rid of so much stuff and I still came home and I still had this, it means a lot. So having said that, I just wing these videos. please understand life is beautiful, man. Life's too short for drama, all right? And I'll kick up some drama sometimes too, but essentially that's only if someone's really sort of slinging shit at me. I'll sling it right back, dude. But at the same time, I love you guys. I love all my subscribers. Please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.